Was it a good performance, many would ask? Were they vintage today? No, absolutely not. They had to really struggle. A lot of teams are going to struggle when they go to Bournemouth, and they are going to get better as the season goes. I think from a right-back position, they had a problem all game with Kerkez until they took him off. He's not a right-back, he's a centre-back. And you look at how you get a balance in the team. I don't know when Reece James is going to be fit, but if you could see Reece James playing at right-back in that team, and what he would give you would be astronomical to where they are now, but it's just a case of getting him on the pitch. You start to get a bit of chemistry, players playing together, and more often it will get better. I've said it before, and I'm going to sound like a complete bore. It's going to be so hard to keep everybody happy. That's my problem with it. Players like Neto, who I'm a massive fan of, he played in the first half, doesn't quite work out, he gets taken off. How are you meant to get confidence and get that feel in the team if you're never really going to be given that trust? He's at least separated the squad into the players that he wants to work with and the players that he isn't going to work with, and said, at least I've got this core of players. So he's taken the first step towards trying to fix that. Is the problem you're talking about that even within that slightly tighter squad, that there are players who want to do the same thing? Yes, there are 4 wingers that could come off the bench, which is absolutely fine because people might say they won you the game in the end, making your subs, making your changes. But I just feel when you've got so many players vying for the same position, it's not always great. You don't see people coming on for Mo Salah after half a game because he's so important. It's just a case of getting, I suppose we've all got to get used to this. Is it going to work? Only time will tell. The narrative is going to go on all season with this Chelsea side and the players they've got. It's just be interesting to see what the success is, and they're doing something completely different to what I've ever understood with football. I'm not a big fan of it. I think exercising players and say, you're going to go to a different part of the training ground, and do you not think they're going to still get in contact with the players and Chilwell, being told he's out and now I hear he could be back into the squad? It just doesn't create a very good environment, I don't think. You can't just say to a player you're not going to be involved, especially if they're good guys and they train well, because you never know when you need someone. Today they could have done with a right back, but he might have been a player that's not in that squad. But having said all of that, Maresca can only work with the squad of players that he's gone into, as big as that is, and as small as he's tried to make it. Can you see his footprint on that team? If I'm really honest, I don't think after today I'm personally any wiser to seeing patterns and a vision of how they want to play. I don't think there's any problem with that. I think he'll need time, and hopefully he gets time. I'm sure he will. He knew what he was coming into, this large squad atmosphere, and to be honest with you, however you think you're going to deal with it, I don't think you'll know until you get in it. I think being in a dressing room with 40 other players, I cannot begin to imagine the dynamic and how you stay task-focused on what you're trying to achieve. But I think today Maresca alluded to it post-match about having to dig deep, win duels. First half Bournemouth were all over them, picking up every second ball, winning their duels. That's what Bournemouth do, but they've also got that sprinkling of quality, but that's what Bournemouth do every game. Bournemouth have gone from the euphoria of beating Everton in the last minute, 3-2 before the international break, to then playing to get today against a good Chelsea side and losing at home. So I think on balance, Chelsea take a bit of what Bournemouth do, move it forward, but have I seen a pattern yet emerging of how they want to play? Not particularly, but they've got good players, so I think things will start to emerge in the coming weeks.